we go at 10 o'clock. Can we read it? Push the start button.
There you go.
Okay, go push the start button. Well, she's pushing the start button. Phones off or to silent. Off or to silent.
Not off.
It needs to be facing the
Put it
phone.
on silent. Just put it on
Little red lights on up there in the corner of the picture? Yes? Okay. The officer's in the way.
Pass that gentleman over there.
Okay, it's on to the best of your knowledge. Okay, I'll call this meeting to order then. Today is January 24th, 2017. This is a special meeting of the Clarcona Resort Condominium Association Board of Directors. The time is 10:01 a.m. There is a quorum present. For the record, present is Mr. Angelon, Ms. Bumgardner, Ms. Bitsakis, Mr. Church, Mr. Fisher, Mr. Piscitano, Ms. Rogers, Mr. Rogers, and Mr. Singer. So all 9 board members are here. Now, there are 6 things on the agenda today. But the main issue today, and I believe the reason most of you are here, is the agenda item of termination of the manager. So I thought we might as well just get right to it. So without objection, and by unanimous consent, we'll move those items, D, E, and F, the resolutions that are related to management termination, right to the top of the agenda. So there being no objections, items D, E, and F will now be first on the agenda. So first, get my stuff, we're going to move to item D. And item D was also the one that was distributed earlier. So item D is establish chain of command. Establish association chain of command.
A resolution of the Board of Directors of Clarcona Resort Condominium Association Incorporated creating a chain of command and contingency plan for association management. Whereas the association is a corporate entity governed by the elected Board of Directors, and whereas pursuant to the bylaws of the association, the Board of Directors is responsible for the administration and maintenance of the association, and whereas the Board of Directors has from time to time hired a community association manager and delegated certain responsibilities and authorities to the association's manager, and whereas the Board of Directors is responsible for the hiring and termination of the association manager, and whereas the Board of Directors establishes the manager's obligation and authority through express agreement and express delegation of Board of Directors authority as appropriate, and whereas pursuant to Florida Statutes Chapter 718, the Board of Directors has limited availability for addressing time-sensitive situations that arise relative to the association manager, and whereas the Board of Directors desires to create a chain of command and contingency plan related to the association's management. Therefore, in consideration of the foregoing, the Board of Directors resolve as follows. Resolve that the association president shall have the authority to and is directed to oversee and provide direction and instruction to the association manager. The association president shall ensure that the association manager is performing in accordance with the manager's contract with the association and regularly update the Board of Directors on the same. Further resolve that the association president shall have the authority to immediately suspend the association manager with pay when the association president has a good cause to believe that the association manager intends to or is causing the association damage. Damage to the association for the purpose of this resolution includes but is not limited to theft of association funds, damage to association property, failure to protect association interests, failure to take timely and appropriate remedial action, and breach of confidential information. In the event that the association president suspends the association manager, the association manager shall immediately be removed from access to the association office. Further, the association president shall immediately schedule a special meeting of the board of directors for the next date allowable under Florida statute. Next date allowable under Florida statutes and the association governing documents. And the board of directors shall review the information related to the manager's suspension. The manager shall have the right to appear at such board meeting, and the association president shall provide the manager with written notice of such meeting as soon as the meeting is scheduled. At the board of directors meeting, the board of directors shall vote to determine whether the suspension was appropriate or not, and whether further action is warranted. In the event that the board of directors determine the suspension was not appropriate, the manager can immediately return to work. Nothing in this resolution gives the association president the authority to terminate the manager. Further resolved, that in the event of the association manager's death or incapacitation for any reason, including serious illness, disability, or incarceration, the association president shall immediately schedule a special meeting of the board of directors for the next date allowable under Florida statutes and the association governing documents. And the board of directors shall review the information related to the manager's incapacitation. Further resolved, that in the event of the association manager's suspension, incapacitation, or termination, the association president shall operate as the association manager in accordance with the terms of the manager's express agreement with the association, except that the association president shall not receive compensation for serving as the manager. The association president shall operate as the association manager and have all the manager's powers and obligations as set forth in the manager's agreement with the association until the board of directors directs otherwise. Further resolved, that this resolution shall remain in force and effect until revoked or amended, regardless in change to manager or president. This resolution was adopted by the board of directors on blank day.
Okay, hang on. That was a long one. Okay, is there a second? Seconded by Ms. Mazzara. You read the long motion? Anything further? Anything further? Okay, I'd just like to say, before we move on here, every word here that was just read was written by the association attorney. It came about through a conversation with the attorney. Kind of related to why we're here to begin with. And he said what you really need is some kind of permanent chain of command. Everybody knows now and for the future how everything works if something happens. And that's what he created. So all the input is from him. This is the way the association is scheduled to work. And it basically says if there's something, the manager quits, the manager's on a card wreck or whatever, incapacitated, basically the president has the power to keep the place running and then calls a meeting. At this point we need a 5-day notice for meetings. We'll call a meeting of the board and the board can take it from there. And it just basically fills in that 5-day time. And anything else from the board? Mr. Church?
Yes, I think it gives a little too much power to the president. I think if this goes through, the president has the power to do whatever they want to. I think it needs to have a board directive to do this. I can understand when you can have the president sit in there and manage the park, but she can't make any decisions without board approval.
I believe you've been around when we've had this issue without a manager. You may have actually managed the park, I think, in the past as president. And then we ended up with Dave Shannon, who sat there as well while we're waiting to get a manager. So, again, this is just what they said. Okay. Now, some of you are new to board meetings, so I'll explain how this is going to work. So the way the rules are set down, which is almost 20 years ago now, the board discusses, then we go to unit owners. The unit owners have up to 3 minutes each to make their statement, which on the resolution itself, which is normally, yes, you should vote for this, no, you shouldn't vote for this, and reasons why. It's not a question and answer period. Each one of you gets your say, so who's ever up at the podium speaking, the other people in the audience, please don't interrupt them. That's their time. The board members will not interrupt them. And then we'll go and we'll listen to each and every one of you, no matter how long it takes. Okay, so on the chain of command letter, is there any statements from the unit owners?
May I speak?
I thought we were done here, but okay, I'll let you go.
I really don't see the need for a resolution like this. It appears that the president and vice president have already assumed all of these responsibilities without any direction from the board. So if they feel that they can already do it without the board approval, what's the sense in doing this?
Okay, let's still, we're leaving the board and we're going to unit owners. Up to the unit owners. If you can, just raise your hand, and I can't see it, but it's the hand directly behind the podium in the middle. If you want to come up to the microphone, yes, if you can talk loud.
I can talk loud.
Okay.
Quiet. I understand that to be a park manager, you have to have a CAM license. Does the president have a CAM license? And my other question is, it says that this president shall remain in force until changes can be made. There should be a limited time. I mean, it could go to the next election.
Okay. Lady here in the white hair.
I think you already know that I can talk loud enough without the loudspeaker. I would like to just tell you what happened not 2 nights ago when the storm was coming. I live right there. I look at that building right there, which is the building I would have to go to in case the tornado came. I thought, my God, they lock it at 8 o'clock. So I immediately set to work trying to get in touch with somebody. I finally got Jocelyn Rogers, who is, I think, the president of the board. That means you're in charge right now. I got her number, and I called her. And I got a recording which says they answer from, I don't know, 8 o'clock in the morning till 6 o'clock at night. This is like 5 o'clock. And the call said, your call will be answered in the order that was received, and we don't know when that's going to be or something like that. And they were going to be locking that door in 3 hours. How long did if I stopped answering at 6 o'clock, I had an hour to get an answer?
Okay, ma'am, it's about time to wrap it up, and I don't see what it has to do with this resolution at all.
Okay, I'll ask again later.
All right, and lady right here.
I would just like to know why are you
Take the vote.
firing Deidre?
Thank you.
Take the
Okay, anybody else?
Oh, I don't get that.
What was the question?
Don't get an answer.
Okay, next up, Mr. Buffalini. Again, about the resolution for chain of command. Yes, that's right.
Okay, is it working?
Yes.
This resolution, it sounds like exactly what Mr. Pistotano said. They've already done this. They've already suspended the manager. And now they're asking for your permission to do that. I really think that you people should vote no on this, and at least 3 of you board members ask for a written attorney's opinion as to why this was done. How can they already do something, then bring a resolution to the board 4 days later and want it authorized? I say vote no on this.
Anybody else? Any other statements from unit owners?
Answer the question that you've been given.
Okay, no more statements from unit owners, then we'll come back to the board. Any follow-up from the board? I guess the follow-up we had, CAM license? No. The association is allowed to self-manage. The statutes do not require the association to hire a manager. If they want to self-manage, they can. And then the board, as a whole, does the management. That's what the statutes say. Secondly, the question was a time limit. The time limit would be until the board, as the resolution says, meets and makes other decisions. As to why, there was a question as to events recently. The events recently were all based on, the attorney says, that part can already happen. This was put in writing, so future boards, future officers don't have to go back to the association attorney time and time again, that it's memorialized in print, so that everybody, every board member, every unit owner, every manager knows the chain of command. This is just memorialized, that first half memorialized was already proper. The second half, just again, to keep order in the association, if something should happen to a manager, those things do happen. This does not change anything else. Anything else from the board? If nothing else from the board, then we're going to vote.
I'd like to have a roll call vote.
We'll, does anybody need me to reread the entire resolution? Nobody needs me to read the entire resolution? But we are, this is resolved that the association. We've gone here, there, here. It's the rules. Again, not a question and answer period. So it's resolved that the association president shall have the authority. That's how it starts. That moves already to page 2 of 2. So it is all those in favor, aye.
I want a roll call vote.
Are there any opposed?
We still want to know why.
Once again,
I want a roll call vote.
all those in favor, aye.
Nobody's going to answer this.
Are there
It's a roll call vote. We're
any
demanding
opposed?
our rights to have a roll call vote, Peter. Now, you either do what the directors tell you to do, or I will have you recalled effective today.